Hello, welcome to Discover Tai Chi. I'm Phil.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Oh, hello and good evening if you're watching maybe at another time later on today. So my name's Helen and we run Discover Tai Chi.
And Discover Tai Chi teaches evidence-based Tai Chi and qigong. So we're very keen to look at all the latest evidence that supports Tai Chi as a health and wellness modality. So that's what we do. What have we got on the live stream, Hal?
So today we are going to, as always, just tell you what we've been up to. So it's Christmas time, and we're just going to give you some top tips for over Christmas period. Things might get a little bit more topsy-turvy. You might not be in your regular routine, so we'll give you some top tips, hopefully to help you keep well over the festive season.
Yeah, so who's watching? Say hello, make a comment in the chat box. Even if you're watching later, that would be good as well to say hello. And we'll look at what we're going to be talking about. Christmas well-being. What else is on the list? Getting moving.
Yeah, so we'll get you moving. We'll have some easy qigong movements. And then Phil's going to go through some of the Bafa Wubu for you.
Yeah, we'll revise Bafa Wubu part 1 for you. And yeah, anything else, any requests or any questions? This is our last live stream before Christmas. So if you've got any requests, I'm hoping that you might have some form of Christmas apparel on, jumpers, hats, tinsel. You let us know in the comments. Even though we can't see you, it would be nice to know that you're in the spirit of things.
So hello, Chris. We've got Chris with us. Hello, Maggie. Hello there. And we've got Ali with us as well. Thank you, Ali, for noticing that headgear. Yes, we've got in the Christmas spirit here.
Yeah, we're doing our best.
You may notice that we've got our Christmas tree up and we've got our log fire going. So we're feeling very festive and yeah.
Smallest Christmas tree in the world. That's our claim to fame.
So yeah, do let us know what you're up to, if you've managed to have a socially distance or wave through the window at friends and family. We've managed to sort of so far sort of just say hello virtually to people, haven't we? And we might be able to get to see people for a walk in the fresh air at some point with friends and family over Christmas.
That's the plan, to be outdoors as much as the weather allows to see folks. So what are your plans? Are you going to be getting outdoors to say hello to people? Again, let us know how you're going to be celebrating as best we can. Christmas isn't cancelled. It's just got to do it differently, that's all. And maybe that might be quite nice to do things differently. What else have we got on, Hel?
So we're just going to talk about Christmas well-being. So yeah, it tends to be the time of year that people do spend time indoors, maybe watching Christmas movies. I'm not sure quite what's going to happen this year. People may be watching more Christmassy films, staying indoors a bit more. So we're just going to talk a little bit about that and reminding people of some of the things they can do to keep well during Christmas.
Yeah, so favourite Christmas movies would be good if you've got any there. There's all the classics from my childhood. The Great Escape. I'm not sure why that was a Christmas movie. Von Ryan's Express. None of them were Christmas movies. They were war movies, but they were always a tribute. Yeah, kind of always associated with Christmas for some reason, in my mind, anyway.
So if you've got a non-Christmas movie recommendation, do let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're always glad about a movie recommendation at the moment. But yeah, so one of the things, while we're maybe watching a bit more telly than we normally do, what sort of things could we be doing to offset that?
Offset sitting. So simple things are, every time there's a break in the program, and that includes the BBC, where there's a break in programming, or on Channel 4 or independent TV where there's advertisements and things like that, is to do our favorite exercise, which is sit to stands.
So if you're going to put the kettle on, get a few sit to stands in first.
There you go.
And as you come back to the chair, don't do it with a hot drink in your hand, though. I've got my cup of tea with me this morning. I hope you've got yours. Any other top tips?
Do any kind of movement break. Those are, in fact, they're really great cues to have a movement break are breaks in TV or radio programming. Every time there's some kind of break, as I say, in the programming, for any reason, it could be if you're listening to the radio and you've got the half-hourly news, again, that's your cue to do a movement break. It was funny, what were we watching the other day about learning and learning skills was when I was working with second year medical students, and I would have some students say they were struggling with their study skills. I introduced them to a app that you can get on Android and Apple phones, and it's associated with the Pomodoro technique. Anyone heard of that? Pomodoro? And it relates to tomatoes. But basically, it's a timer on your phone that lasts for about 20-25 minutes. So in that 20-25 minute period, the advice to the students at least was study and focus for that period of time. And when the alarm or little trigger on the Pomodoro app rings, that's an opportunity to take a 5-minute break. And then another alarm goes, and then you've got another 20 or 25 minute period of focused, concentrated work. It really works because you've got this routine, this little mental routine, seems to chime with the length of time in which we can really focus and concentrate, which is roughly about 20 to 30 minutes before we actually need some form of break. And that probably is as much to do with cognitive as well as physical fatigue if you sat down. So that worked quite nicely, as I said, with TV programs, radio programs, where you get these regular breaks or intermissions for one reason or another, be it advertising, be it program promotion, be it news. And those are perfect little cues to do movement breaks, whatever that means for you. Sit to stands, squats, I don't know. It's up to you what you do.
Put on a favourite track and have a dance for a minute.
Do a little dance, do some cleaning, whatever floats your boat, basically. Get up from that chair and just move. There's even just the advice, which is simply by standing up and just moving around, making a cup of tea, something like that, as Helen says, is good enough just to break up that period of being sat down. So try that, guys, throughout the day. It's really simple. It's really easy. All you do is take those intermissions in programs as a cue to do some form of movement, even if it just involves not sitting and simply standing up and doing something else.
My top tip is going to be if you've got a smartphone or a tablet, is to have a look at the Clock Yourself app. So it's Clock Yourself.
Shall I write that in the comments?
You can write that in the comments. It's by an Australian physiotherapist who's put a lot of research into this and has created a very nifty little app. And you can set a timer and do the exercises for as long as you want. She's designed them specifically to help with balance. So I would really recommend that. It's you can make it fun and entertaining because you can do all sorts of different things with it. So you can make it into a little game.
It's really good because it combines, as you get through the challenges, it starts to challenge you where you could start using the Clock Yourself app in a different language. So you begin to start to learn a different language as well. There's all kinds of funky stuff, and it's really good because what's she called? Meg Lowry?
Yeah.
Has really evidence-based it as well. So she's linked why she's doing things in the app to the evidence base on falls and balance.
So, yeah, it's a good time of year to be thinking about keeping up with your exercise, and also at some point people might be thinking of what their New Year's resolution is as well. So think about what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and then when New Year's comes, you can think about what your resolution is going to be. Don't pick something that you know you're always I don't want to say fail at. Fail's a harsh word, isn't it?
No, dislike. It's like if you don't like I don't know, whitewater rafting, don't do it. Don't do it just because it's exercise du jour.
Yeah.
Do the things that you enjoy. If you love golf and getting out playing golf, do that. That's good. If you love getting out for a trail run, do that. If you love, I don't know, lifting weights up like me and Helen do, then lift weights. Try and do some strength building, even throughout the day in some shape or form. But again, it can be different means and ways of doing so.
Okay. So I think that's our top tips for Christmas, isn't it? So do something that you enjoy.
Yeah. So with that being said, are you going to do some movements now?
Yeah, so we're going to do some movements. We've got a treat for you. We've got, some people may have seen this if they've been on Facebook. We have brought, no expense spared, a special form called the Village People form.
Yeah, it's a special ancient form of qigong.
Apparently come down from a mountain, a village mountain.
Yeah.
A village on a mountain, sorry. It's come down from a village on a mountain somewhere up in the clouds, and we really like this form. We think you're going to find it really enjoyable. So when you're ready, we hope you've had a chance to have a slurp of your tea or coffee, whatever you've got, a bite of your mince pie, and now we're going to do a little bit of movement. So if you'd like to make yourself a little bit of space, please do. Always stay within your safe and comfortable range of motion. So make sure that you don't push yourself further than you have to. That's the great thing about Tai Chi. It's not about pushing into a stretch. It's not about pushing our balance. It's not about even building up a sweat in that normal way that we think of doing exercise. It's about tuning in and listening to what our bodies are doing. So
I'm going to get out of the way. I'll be back in a mo and we'll run through some Bafa Wubu. Okay, let's go.
So I've got my chair there just in case if you need a little bit of balance. So we're going to have a little bit of a walk on the spot. So if you're standing, have a little walk. It'll get the circulation moving. This is another one that's just, like I say, can do in between if you're watching a lot of telly or doing a little sitting, just have a little. I can see someone else has just joined us, so good morning. I think that's Anne. Hello, thank you for joining us. And we can see we've got a Christmas theme on. We've got Christmas jumpers, Christmas headgear, and we're just warming up. So we're just having a little walk on the spot. You can even just lift the ankle. So this is just a nice one, just to keep the toes in contact. So we can do it at the level that suits us. Going to take some nice, easy breaths. So just trying to relax down through the torso so that if we've been sat for a while, we might start to breathe a bit like this because we can't actually breathe naturally, which is kind of more outwards into our diaphragm and downwards. So we might get a little bit shallower. So now we're stood up, just give yourself the opportunity to have a little relax, breathe, open up. So let's roll the shoulders. So again, if we've been a little bit tense, sometimes that can creep in if we're watching the news and we don't like what we hear, we might be tensing the shoulders. Let's let go and relax. Just take your time, nice easy breath. See if you can let the shoulders maybe relax a little bit more each time you go around. And maybe try it the opposite direction. So this is when we pull the shoulder blades together. And like we say, don't overdo things. Don't pull. Don't wrench at your shoulders. Don't yank them up to the ears. This is a roll. Nice and easy. And when you're ready, have a little just saunter on the spot. Tune into the feet. Let's see if we can take a slightly wider stance. I've got my soft little shoes on today, and they're really good for feeling the floor. So I'm going to give my toes a little wiggle, and I'm going to imagine that I'm maybe on a boat, and I'm just going to go from side to side. So relax the feet, let them almost squish into the floor. If it feels nice, you can imagine that maybe you're even going to grow some roots down into that soil, rich, fertile soil. We can hopefully feel our knees and ankles flexing a little bit more each time. Just go nice and easy. And again, feel maybe the breath doing what it does naturally. And when you're ready, just walking the feet back in. So you might want to warm the back up. Often we do this in winter, don't we? Give the hands a rub. Going to warm the back up. If that feels nice, give yourself a little rub on the back. Nice for our sensory system to have those nice sensations going through our back. We can do some little hip circles while we're here. So now we've drawn our attention to our lower back. Let it stay relaxed, hopefully. Little hip circles. Again, nice, easy breath. Just gentle hip circles. This is about tuning into the lower back and the hips. See how they're doing. And when you're ready, having a little walk. Maybe have some, swish some paint in some paint pots. So I think about having some paint pots on either side, giving them a swish. It's nice warm paint, nice warm gloopy paint. It feels nice on the wrists to get the wrists warm, get the wrists moving. Get a change direction, swish that paint the other way. I've got some cracks and clicks this morning as I get my wrists moving. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to try different directions. So this is the bit where I try and confuse myself. See if I can work out what's actually happening by trying to get the hands to go in different directions, or even figures of 8. So we're really thinking about how we move, where we're moving, challenging some of what we call maybe motor patterns that are really subconscious. We really don't think about them at all often, the way we move. Tai Chi is this lovely exploration of movement. A chance to find out, how do we move? What's going on? So I'm going to have a little go at lifting the ball up, or bouncing the ball, sometimes it's called. We're going to, nice easy movement, but just think about your balance. Again, a movement that we think we know very well, but if you can, if it feels safe and comfortable for you, slow it down a little bit, and just think about how we're actually balancing. What does it take to balance in this movement? So what I'm going to do is lift opposite arm to leg. She says, I am going to lift opposite arm to leg. It's okay if you want to do same arm, same leg. Sometimes that's the way our motor pattern wants to take us. But have a little go at opposite arm to leg. See what's involved in that movement. If you can bring the arm up a little bit higher, up to shoulder level, if that's comfortable for you. Have a little balance and a little settle down, but keep an eye on your balance. If you feel unsteady, just keep the movement very small down here, just lifting the heels and lifting the palms. You decide. So adjust, how does this movement work to lift the opposite arm and leg? What has to go on? So if we've done that a few times, we're going to just go back to a easy walk. We're going to have a movement that's a bit like skating. So this is a great one for practicing our balance. So you might want to have something like a chair or a worktop to do this movement. It can be a little more balance challenge than we're actually expecting. And what we do is we lift one foot up and we leave it parallel to the floor, but about a couple of centimeters from the floor. So the whole foot should stay parallel, and we make little circles. So if you're feeling well balanced, maybe try without, holding on. See if you can relax as well. Often when we're balancing, we then tense everything up. So see if you can relax. Keep that standing leg nice and soft, the knee soft. And when you've had enough, come back, have a little walk and a shake out. And when you're ready, if you'd like to, maybe have a go on the other side. So again, use something to help if you need a bit of help with balance. Just to get going, maybe put a hand out. Try the little skating circles. So we can imagine we're just gliding along, one foot just pushing. If you're feeling well balanced, maybe try and make that a little bit bigger. If you're feeling wobbly, hold on, make the circle smaller. It's up to you. It's about tuning into what we can do. And when you're ready, finish up, have a little walk and a shake again. So here comes the bit that you've all been waiting for. This is the very special form that we've brought for you. It's a very unusual form, so it's top secret. And we're going to begin with our feet slightly wider, as this is our Tai Chi stance. We settle into it. So that's we watch out for we want to avoid the bend. We want to sit. So often when we ask people to bend their knees in class or to soften down, what we see is people bending. We want to just get that sense that these muscles can engage and they will hold us up, and we settle into that stance. So I'm going to bring our hands up and we're lifting up. And just go up as far as feels comfortable for you. So this is our very special secret form from the village in China. So just come down and just touching the top of the head and back up. And then we're just going to go to one side, soften down and back up. Have a pause and then hands down. There we go. So a very special form, sometimes known as the YMCA.
It's for YMCA, everybody. From that's not qigong. That's the YMCA. It's that one. Cheeky.
So we've been found out. So the point of this is that it's not what we do in Tai Chi, it's how we do it. We talk about Tai Chi principles, or if you've joined our membership scheme, you know, we're going to try and talk about them in terms of Tai Chi qualities. So Phil will tell you a bit more about that. But the things that make Tai Chi or qigong are not what we do, It's the way that we do it. So something even as silly as the YMCA, we can make it Tai Chi if we want to. Sometimes people get very upset or just a little bit, tense about what is Tai Chi and how it should be done and what it should look like. We'd like to think that the qualities are what makes Tai Chi Tai Chi. Okay. So we're going to do that again, except I'm going to go to the other side. My letter C is now going to go to the other side. So see if you can have a little go. It's about this idea of having motor patterns that we know very well, but putting the qualities into them changes the movement. So take a nice easy breath, settle down into your Tai Chi stance, bring the hands up. If it's comfortable, have a little look up. Think about where your balance is, coming down, settle down into that stance. Over to the side, if that's comfortable, have a little look towards the hand, coming back, pause, and then let it go. And have a little shake out. So if you want to have a little movement break at some point, have a go at your YMCA form, see if you can make it Tai Chi, something we know very well, but we can bring our Tai Chi principles to it to slow down, to make it smooth, to think about the balance and control in the movement. Any of these things can become Tai Chi if we want them to. So we're going to do a nice movement now, help us warm up a little bit with, again, it's called flying pigeon. And I'm going to go into my bow stance, which is hip width feet, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. And if you would like, if it feels comfortable, turn the toes out slightly. But find a stance that's comfortable for you. We're opening the hands and we'll shift the weight towards the front leg. And as we do, the hands close together. We're going to shift the weight to the back leg and the hands open. So that's our movement. Closing the palms to face each other and opening. And we shift the weight. So nice easy breath. Shifting the weight. And then we're just going to step up. And I'm going to do the next one from the side. So I'm stepping forward with the opposite foot this time. I'm still on a hip width apart. And you're going to see, hopefully, that I don't lean, that I just shift the weight backwards and forwards. So just opening this and push forward. But I do that with the feet, not with the shoulders. So closing the palms, shift the weight, opening the palms, shift the weight back. So just shifting between back leg and front leg. Again, it's a good opportunity to allow the chest muscles to relax, the shoulder muscles to relax. And obviously only do as many as you feels comfortable for you. Stop when you've had enough. I'm just going to do a couple more. And there we go. So I'm going to bring my weight back to the center and have a little walk. I'm going to see if Phil's ready to come in and show you some Bafa Wubu. So, are you ready to have a go? Shall I take this chair out of the way?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, folks. Hello, everyone. Any questions, please do put them in the chat box. And let's do three rounds of Bafa Wubu, part 1. You're back now, Maggie. Good to know. That's okay. It's like we've had parcels, things come arrive. It's okay. It doesn't matter. Right. Bafa Wubu. I'm hoping that you guys can follow along or just watch and observe. So our little focus is that we want to have a bit of a wider stance than maybe we've been used to. So I'm kind of maybe shoulder width, maybe even a bit wider than shoulder width. Again, you use your common sense on this one. And we want to let the knees settle down, just like that. Just down. As if I'm taking a seat. Okay? And that's our stance. That's what we're going to work with. So we're going to work with our legs, first of all, to really drive the movement. We want to make sure that our knees avoid falling inwards. Can you see how my knee falls in? Like so. We want to avoid that. So even though I'm turning hips, and my knees can go forwards and backwards, they track my toes, i.e. they don't fall in. Really try to make sure that you keep your knees over your feet, even though we're going to be twisting and turning. I might go to leg cam for a moment just to show you. Let's see what happens. No, we've lost leg cam for some reason. Is it there, Hel? No. Okay, so we lost leg cam. Don't worry. Just when you need it, it disappears. But hey ho. Right, here we go. So we're going to drop down and lift up. Chisha. And down. We're going to pick up on the right side, ward off. Roll back. Press. Part the hands. Push. So the body braces against the legs. Turn the hands to the left, pull to the right. Sweep the hands forward. Elbow, left elbow, roll the hands. Right shoulder, pick up the ball. I'm pushing off this right leg to send me across. And where are we? Sorry, it's all right. Lost my way. I'm watching Helen mess with a camera. Push. Sweep. And down. And we'll finish there. Have we got leg cam, Hel? Or have we?
Try again.
Let's see if we've got leg cam. Yay! Except my legs aren't in there. Sorry about that. Had it switched itself off, Helen? Wasn't plugged in. That's all right. We've got so many things to plug in that it's very easy to forget that things need plugging in. Hey ho. Right, I'm going to turn and give you my right shoulder so that you can follow along. Okay? And once again, slightly wider stance. Down we go. So this is where I am going to show you leg cam. Just a little bit. Let me come back. So we really want to sit down in that stance. See how the knee bends? And then as I'm moving, the knees can push through that movement. See that idea? Just like that. But if I face our little leg cam, they're not falling inwards or inwards like so. Oh, very bad for our knees. We want to keep the knee tracking. So there you go. You've got a picture of me legs. Let me come back. So sit into that stance. Let me count you in. 3, 2, 1. And off we go. So work those legs. So there's a push off the left leg. Push off the right leg. Push off the left. Push off the right. Brace through the legs. push through both legs. We're not lifting out of a stance. Grip, pushing off that left leg. Push off the right leg to sweep. Let me turn and then push off the left for that left elbow. Push the opposite side. Pick up the ball, push off that right to rotate, and as I come round, I'm going to now give you my left side as we push. Push off the right, push off the left. So I'm pushing. You see that extension? Push off the leg. Down, brace. Push off the right, push off the left for that rotation. As I turn, push. I'm pushing off the right and back, and then down to that side. And then pick up to finish with our little flourish. So I'm emphasizing it quite a lot, but that's how it ought to feel for you guys as you run through, particularly if you've got comfortable with this form and you've got a good idea where you're going, is to drive the movement with your legs. And it's basically an alternate push and pull, and we rotate our hips like so. Very classic Chinese way of thinking about that body. We're rotating, but not too far. It's a braced rotation. If I'm pushing, I'm resisting. These are all the yin and yang elements of Tai Chi. If I'm pushing forward, there's also a sense of pushing against resistance. So there's something resisting that movement. If we're stepping backwards, something resists us going backwards. We looked at this in some of our classes. I know hopefully some of you will remember that we've looked at this idea of that we move against a frame, and all of a sudden I can't move any further that way. There's a frame here that stops me. In fact, I've got to push off it to go back the opposite way. So we always move within frames that keep our movements bounded within a box. Again, many of you have come to workshops where we've explored these ideas and introduced these concepts. Should we do that again? So now you know what we're looking for. I'll de-emphasize the legs because the legs are there. And let's again run through those movements, okay? Part one. Take a breath. So the idea is to be relaxed but dynamic. So we're not so relaxed that we're like all floppy, but we're not too tense either. Relaxed but dynamic. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Down. So we go down so that we can come up. Opposites, always working in Tai Chi. This idea of yin and yang. Opposite legs. If one leg is pushing, the other is pulling. Sweep the hands. Let me turn so you can see elbow, left elbow, right shoulder. And then let me turn as we carry the ball to the left side. And now ward off. Roll back. Push. Grip and pull. Once again, sweep the hands. There we are. Right elbow. Down. And then finish. So we're working the legs and the body. So pushing and pulling, up and down. So if I'm going down, there's a sense of resistance against it. If I'm going up, there's a sense of resistance coming down. If I take a step forward, I meet a resistance I come against a resistance that stops me going too far. It's a fault I see a lot in Tai Chi where people push too far into the stance and then they complain of bad knees. Whereas in fact, we meet resistance and it stops us. There's a actual physical boundary that I can't move into. Let's have a look at that as we do some steps forward. So in part 2, we've got our direction of going forwards. But let's see if we can have that sense that we meet resistance as we move forward into those steps. If I'm going to come towards the camera and then I'll face the camera so that you can follow. But if you do wish to have a go as I'm coming towards you, that's okay. Bear in mind, I'm not going to mirror. I'll talk from my perspective, okay? So if you remember, we finish on this left shoulder down here. Yeah, left shoulder. I need to shift my weight. So I'm going to pick up a ball, left hand on top, turn the toes out on that right foot, and then I'm going to rotate the ball, right hand on top, and I'm facing diagonally 45 degrees to the camera. And then I step that left foot, toes to the camera, press down, and I press, or ward off as it's called, but I'm pressing forward, but I meet resistance. It stops me overextending. We can see people often, when they initially learn, they want to really overextend, when in fact the correct movement is to meet something that stops us. So much so that we go back, turn out the toes of the left foot, step up, and then step to the camera once again, ward off, and again I meet resistance. It stops me going too far. It's as if, here's my French window, oof, I can't go any further. This hand is against the glass and you can't push any further. So when we do our Tai Chi steps, I'm going to see if we can do this with leg cam. Let's have a go. Here we go. So there's my stance. I'm at the end of Bafa Wubu. As I turn the foot out on the right side and step up, close my stance, open the stance, my toes, left foot, point to the camera, and I push, but I stop. It's as if this kneecap comes against the glass surface as well. You can't see it, but it can't go any further forward. The muscles, you can probably see the muscles are resisting any further movement. Sometimes you see people go too deep in a stance. I see that a lot in the early stages of learning Tai Chi, that the knee goes too far. Some teachers actually teach it. It's incorrect. Some things are simply incorrect, and this is incorrect. We want to make sure that our knee is stabilized, we're feeling strong, and then I can turn out, step up, there I am facing leg cam, I'm sat in the stance, my heel is raised on this side, and then I step, and again, there's a point where I just come to a stop. That knee is now against a surface. It won't go any further. I'm pushing off this back leg and it won't push. I've come against an immovable force. The only way I can go, in fact, is to push back, turn out, and maybe take another step. And that's how we do our Tai Chi steps. Let me come back. You might have seen Helen on Facebook cross the muddy field that we encountered on a walk, and she used our muddy field technique. Well, it's not our muddy field technique. It's called the Tai Chi stance, and she used this very same means of crossing the muddy field, and it works. because she's in control of her balance, she's in control of her stance, she knows where her center of mass is in relation to her base of support. And that's what Tai Chi is, being acutely aware. Should we have a go again with Bafa Wubu? So have that idea of meeting resistance in your movements. It's again an element that isn't really taught all that much or explained that much, but I'm hoping it helps you guys no matter which Tai Chi form you practice. It applies. Helen said we can do the YMCA in a Tai Chi way because it's those Tai Chi qualities that define what Tai Chi is really about. Okay. So, slightly wider stance if you can. As I go down, there's a sense of resistance. So there's a sense of I can't go any further. There's a sense of bracing. It's almost like a slow motion jump where I go down a little bit, but I'm also thinking up. So down, and then on 3, 1, 2, 3, off we go. Ward off, roll back, press into push, pull to that right hip. As I turn, you stay where you are, rotate the hands, and then elbow. So here, there's a tendency for people to really want to rotate deeply. But no, I've come against resistance. In reality, that's someone else's body. There, I can't go any further, they're resisting. And then I unwind here. Again, some people want to push, but I've met resistance. Pick the ball up, carry it across to avoid that over-rotation, again, that we see, where we go like so, and I've really over-rotated. Resistance, I've met resistance. I can't rotate any further. Rotate the ball one more time. Let me turn, sorry, left hand on top. And now ward off. Roll back. Press. And push. As I push, I'm meeting more and more resistance. I can't push any further. Pull. Sweep. Elbow strike. No further. Shoulder strike. No further. And then we can come up and finish just like so. So, how are we doing for time, folks? Nearly there. Any questions on that? So we've used Bafa Wubu to introduce this quality of working against resistance. I'm going to post a video soon on our social media channels of Helen and I engaged in some listening hands and push hands practice. Again, those of you who have enjoyed our classes and workshops over the years and have enjoyed doing some of these listening hand exercises, it will be familiar to you. It's such an integral part of Tai Chi, but to not do it is kind of like losing a leg. So have a look out for that, because it's a really nicely shot video by a filmmaker. And again, it'll give you an idea of these Tai Chi stances. You'll see us move into familiar movements. But now we're not thinking about it. All we're doing is thinking about moving in relationship to another body, another person. And there quite literally is a point where you can't move into that person's space. You could push and shove them, but that's not what Tai Chi is about. Tai Chi is about recognizing when you can't go any further and then finding another way around that immovable object. That's so intrinsic to what we think about in terms of Tai Chi as a philosophy and a practice, rather than forcefully moving against a barrier or a challenge. We move fluidly around it. We use our brains rather than our brawn. We try to think our way out of a problem, which is a barrier, and find a solution to move through a different direction. So, any questions before we wrap things up before Christmas? I hope that's been enjoyable. I hope you like our little YMCA qigong, and because it doesn't always have to be so po-faced. We hope you're going to enjoy your holidays as much as you can in whatever way that you're going to do so. If you've liked what we've done today on the YouTube channel, give us a like and a thumbs up. I thrive off likes and thumbs ups and things like that. You know I do. Or if you've got any comments or questions, or if you're watching later, again, give us a like and a thumbs up. It just makes my day. And if you really want to make my day, subscribe as well, because that way you keep up to date with all our latest videos. Take care over the holidays. Obviously, you're very aware of the news in terms of COVID, so I'm not going to over-egg things. Just take care, be mindful. We're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, so just be mindful of what you do and how you do it. And we will see you next Tuesday in between Christmas and New Year's. So we will be here on Tuesday if you would like to join us. And until then, take care, stay safe, have an enjoyable time, whatever you're going to do over the holidays. Thank you very much for all your lovely best wishes and greetings that some of you have sent us. That's been so lovely to receive. Thank you for everyone on Patreon as well. Thank you for those folks who regularly buy us coffees on coffee.com. That's so appreciated as well. So for now, take care, enjoy your lunch, and we will see you next Tuesday, hopefully. Bye-bye, everyone.